5.5-point favorites against the Broncos. Are you surprised by that?
No. I mean, some people think they should be greater favorites because of Stidham. Look, I think this is still going to be a tough game. It will be a horrific loss for the Patriots. But I can see a way that Denver beats them. I mean, they got a great defense. We know that. May, as coaches said yesterday, has been getting sacked a lot. He's been sacked 10 times in 2 playoff games. They lead the league in sacks with 68. He's been sloppy with the football, Drake May. So if Stidham can just not have a lot of turnovers and play decent, Denver's got a chance. Again, New England should win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people just expect based on Jarrett Stidham. So, no, I think 5.5 is pretty fair. Denver also is 8-1 at home, which is the best record in the league. So I expect right now I feel like New England's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game.
Yeah, if we use C.J. Stroud as the bar for quarterback performance, the Texans now
can't be worse.
Well, yeah, the Texans were less than a touchdown down to start the fourth quarter. And this is a very similar situation with Denver in terms of what they can do defensively and the volume of sacks that they have, and the fact that May is not just getting sacked at a higher rate, he's getting sacked at double the rate that he got sacked at in the regular season. That to me is a real problem. And the idea that they're 5.5-point favorites, Denver lost 1 game, and I get it, Knicks isn't there, but they only lost 1 game. It's a really difficult environment to play in. Drake May hasn't played a playoff game on the road, and that noise is significant with the silent count, with the communication, with making checks, checking out of things. Everything becomes hand signals. There's a lot of things that go into that. And here's the other thing I'll say about Stidham is obviously Sean Payton felt very strongly about him. He was a day 1 pickup for him. Josh McDaniels felt very strongly about him because he traded for him when he was the head coach of the Raiders. So there's 2 guys that are accomplished offensive coaches who feel like he could be a starter and very successful. And the last thing is sometimes a backup quarterback, you don't want to have it in this situation, obviously, but it's hard for defenses because you don't totally know what you're going to get. You don't have the same bead on that guy as you had in the other guys. How is he going to escape? How often is he going to run with the ball? What are his best throws? Like some of those things, you'd like to have more information on the quarterback than less.
Here comes Mr. Favorite, Stanley Parkin.
No.
Oh.
No, you're misreading me. All year, we can question how good Bo Nix is, how much of Denver's success is because of Bo Nix.
This is correct.
Like all year. They didn't lose Josh Allen. they didn't lose Lamar Jackson. They didn't lose.
He played very well in that playoff game, though.
He did, but odds are set based on a large body of work and a large sample and expected performance. Like Bo Nix is, I know Broncos fans would say he's a top 10 quarterback, but I think most people would have Bo Nix outside of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. So if a middle third quarterback gets injured and then a top third backup quarterback, just based on number of times he's signed, the offensive coaches who have vouched for him, the
fact that he's been in the league this long, it's better than, I understand what you're saying. He's not a rookie backup quarterback. Correct. It's a guy who at least has experience.
Exactly. Like it is obviously a drop off, and it's obviously a huge blow to Denver. And the line would not be this if Bo Nix was starting. I'm not dismissing any of that, but this is not. The Broncos have not been Bo Nix dependent.
So that I think is the key point. So I want to say this while on the front end saying, I thought Bo Nix, of the 8 quarterbacks that played this weekend, you said it, Brew, and I agree with you 100%. I thought he played the best. I thought Bo Nix was awesome at the end of the first half when they were trying, I thought maybe to steal 3 points, and they ended up getting a touchdown, talking about before Josh's fumble, and obviously at the end of the game. And I didn't hate the fact that it seemed like in overtime they were like, why don't we chuck it deep? He's not going to throw a pick, and maybe we'll draw a PI, and they were able to do that. So I want to give Bo Nix credit, and I obviously, had he not been injured, coming off that game, you feel very differently about the Broncos. But over the course of the season, we watched the Broncos 7 times win games with quarterback play about the level I expect they can get from Stidham this week.
Look, this entire media narrative inevitably creates a no-win scenario for Bo Nix. And frankly, I hope I get the opportunity to directly challenge that narrative, because it's profoundly frustrating. I won't delve into my full rebuttal here to avoid redundancy, but the core of my reaction is this. When someone declares Bo Nix was the best quarterback among the 8 in the divisional round, they present it as some grand, bold proclamation. Please, that is the most glaringly obvious observation imaginable. Watch the games. It's not a complex analysis. It's actually remarkably straightforward, the lowest hanging fruit available. This is precisely why I took the time to compile a detailed statistical comparison, pitting Bo Nix's first playoff victory against the initial playoff wins of Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. I have a separate video providing a deeper dive, so I won't reiterate every point, but the data clearly illustrates that Bo Nix was asked to shoulder a far greater burden for his team. He operated at a higher level of individual responsibility and overcame more significant deficits, whether measured in points allowed by his defense, the lack of a rushing attack, deep passing efficiency, total touchdowns, rushing first downs, or the sheer volume of pass attempts relative to run plays. The Broncos placed the weight of their season on Bo Nix's shoulders. Do not attempt to revise history by suggesting this team didn't ride with Bo Nix all season. Do not downplay his role in those critical come-from-behind fourth-quarter victories. The progression was evident. Sean Payton consistently entrusted Bo Nix with more responsibility. The fact that a backup can now step in and perform admirably does not diminish the immense value Bo Nix provided throughout the entire campaign. This is what's so intellectually obnoxious about the current discourse. You must pay acute attention. The art of deconstructing a flawed argument isn't about shouting a louder opinion. It's about listening precisely and attacking the foundational logic. That's the core of any argument. My mind naturally operates this way, so let's follow that logical path for a moment. It's quick and simple. If the backup quarterback is performing well, the implied logic is, clearly this backup is actually pretty good, because Sean Payton specifically wanted him and handpicked him. Sean Payton also vehemently vouched for and drafted Bo Nix. He then progressively heaped more and more responsibility onto Bo Nix's shoulders. So, what does that chain of decision-making tell you about Payton's belief in Bo Nix? It should tell you it's through the roof. What exhausts me is this selective, agenda-driven downplaying of quarterbacks, depending on whether the narrative is trying to build them up or tear them down. There is no elite, top-seeded team in the modern NFL that is 100% quarterback-driven. It simply does not exist. Any glimpse of such a structure gets ruthlessly exposed in the playoffs. The closest recent example might be Lamar Jackson's 2023 MVP season, which again revealed that even spectacular individual play requires more support. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes in 2023 who had an elite defense. Historically, for nearly a decade, every top-seeded team has been a product of great coaching, a formidable defense, and quality offensive pieces around the quarterback. Therefore, the Denver Broncos are a great team. They possess an excellent roster. This brings me back to a previous logical takedown. A critic once stated, "I don't think the Broncos are that good. I don't think their receiving core is that good, their run game is that good, or that Sean Payton is that good." My counter was, okay, if that's true, then isn't it remarkable that Bo Nix, as a rookie, led this supposedly not that good team to the playoffs and posted top 10 quarterback statistics? Which is it? If the team is subpar, then Bo Nix's achievement is extraordinary. If, however, you argue the success was due to the defense, the weapons, and Payton's coaching, it wasn't Bo Nix, then welcome to the club. That's the reality for every successful quarterback. Many quarterbacks could find success with a great roster and great coaching. A backup can elevate and win games. This doesn't require you to diminish Bo Nix's contributions. That, my friends, is logical consistency. But these conversations are rarely approached with that intellectual honesty. They are strategically framed to diminish a specific quarterback. Jalen Hurts was absolutely crucial to the Eagles' Super Bowl victory, particularly in key moments. If he had been injured, the Eagles, with their roster, could have remained competitive and possibly still succeeded. You could plausibly insert other quarterbacks onto that Eagles team or those Chiefs and Rams championship teams and still envision a Super Bowl win. I'm focusing on the most recent champions, Chiefs, Rams, Eagles, because the game's structure from 2018 onward is consistent. Go back further to the Manning or Brady eras, and the dynamics differ considerably. Hell, Peyton Manning's final Super Bowl win featured a stat line of 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. It was a game-managing performance, not a heroic carry job. Initially, I considered framing this as a New England Patriots analysis clip, given their upcoming game. But hearing the persistent, illogical framing around Bo Nix forced my hand. This needed to be a Broncos-focused rebuttal. I'll save my detailed Drake May analysis for another time. Consider this. The perceived floor of the Texans' offense with a backup was dismally low, yet they were still positioned to win their game. The same applies to the Chargers. Both offenses were dysfunctional, regardless of quarterback play. However, both those teams possess elite defenses. For much of the season, we lauded the Broncos' defense as elite, though we haven't seen that dominant version consistently since their early season upset of the Chiefs. That defense needs to rediscover its identity. If they generate pressure on Drake May and force fumbles, and crucially, recover them, they can control this game. Let's be clear. I am extremely high on Drake May's talent and future. I've made bold statements about his potential. However, the New England Patriots are not an offensive juggernaut. That unit is not an unstoppable force. Now, Drake May must perform on the road, where the environment is exponentially more challenging. The communication difficulties for a young quarterback are real. A critic's take about the specific issues May could face in Denver was, frankly, textbook and accurate. It's a legitimate concern. Furthermore, from a defensive preparation standpoint, the Broncos present a unique puzzle. How do you game plan for a backup quarterback with limited recent tape in Sean Payton's system? It's a chess match that weirdly becomes an advantage for Denver. You're essentially guessing. The Patriots have a noted historical vulnerability against backup quarterbacks precisely due to this film scarcity. You can look at old college tape or dated NFL snaps, but it's imperfect information. The Eagles once successfully dug into old college film to prepare for a backup, but that's the exception. The Patriots have guessed wrong before in these scenarios. This lack of a definitive blueprint for the Broncos' offense with this specific backup under center makes the matchup fascinating. I maintain that the game hinges on the Broncos' defense rising to the occasion. If they control the line of scrimmage and disrupt May's rhythm, then the task for the backup quarterback simplifies. Just don't implode. The Patriots being favored by the odds makers is a logical value bet. You're wagering that Drake May will be a definitively better quarterback than the Broncos' backup, which is a reasonable premise. However, we must also acknowledge that this season has been a showcase for backup quarterbacks delivering surprising performances. Sam Darnold, Malik Willis, Marcus Mariota, all have had standout games. Mariota, in particular, had an excellent game against the Broncos this year. Sometimes a backup gets in sync with the play caller, and everything clicks. That's the nature of the sport. Personally, I'm buying into the potential of the Broncos situation with their backup. I'm an optimistic person by nature when it comes to sports. The any given Sunday axiom exists for a reason. It's why football is compelling. A great team is never solely a product of its quarterback. By definition, if you are a legitimately great team and you lose your starting quarterback, you retain the capacity to be great, to win games, and yes, even to win the next 2 contests. That's the logical endpoint of this discussion, but these are simply my analytical perspectives. I am absolutely eager to hear yours. What are your thoughts on the backup quarterback versus Drake May and Bo Nix's overarching impact on the Denver Broncos? Let me know your analysis in the comment section below. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, let's get some discussions going. Let's have some passionate debates. But ultimately, let's enjoy the conversation. Please consider subscribing. We are building an incredible community here, and I would absolutely love to see you become part of it. My aim is to create something we all feel a genuine connection to, something we're truly excited to be a part of. I believe we're making significant progress. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely helps with visibility and the platform's algorithm. Thank you so much.